and welcome to another edition of Coffee Talk with immigration attorney Brian D. Lerner. So the Supreme Court has just issued again a denial. It wasn't even a denial, just basically a one-line statement saying they wouldn't even accept the attempt by the Texas Attorney General and all of the other attorneys general who joined in, along with the 100 congressional persons who joined in to essentially vacate millions of votes in 4 other states and take away democracy. So I had no doubt that the Supreme Court wasn't going to let this go through because there was simply no law as to the basis for it. They made it look real pretty on pleading paper, and they made it look real official, on the pleading. But to be honest, it was just pure garbage. It didn't have any merits whatsoever. So I was not concerned, not for 1 second, that the Supreme Court would actually take this up. Because to be honest, if the Supreme Court decided to take this up, that's basically the Supreme Court saying that this is no longer a democracy. Okay, so let's just discuss for a minute what the Texas Attorney General tried to do. The Texas Attorney General, for all intents and purposes, said that the 4 states, the 4 battleground states, which he didn't even include Texas, should have millions of votes thrown aside, essentially for ludicrous reasons, and that essentially Trump won those particular states. That was the basis of it. Okay, so it was ridiculous to even begin. But what is scary is, first of all, the Texas Attorney General even decided to bring that. But what is even more scary is 17 attorney generals in the United States joined in that lawsuit. That is 17 people who have been elected to the highest legal office in each of their particular states, who know the law, who are attorneys, and who have sworn an oath to the Constitution, signed on to have essentially a petition filed with the U.S. Supreme Court to deny democracy and to take away the rights of millions of voters, and essentially to vacate the election. It doesn't get any worse than this. And honestly, if something like this happened in North Korea, I'd say, okay, I understand it. But to happen in America, where the majority of Republican-won states, their attorneys general, decided to sign on to this, and to make it worse, 100 congressional Republicans from the House decided to sign their names to this. They're all just signing their names to something which has zero legal basis. You could be in law school for 3 days and know that this had no merit, let alone to be licensed attorneys at the top of the state for the attorneys general, to be congressional people. I mean, it might be difficult to accept that President-elect Biden won, okay? And they might, have some coffee over how it happened and what they should have done differently. But to try to actively do what they did, to sign on a petition that had zero legal merit, and it's worse than having zero legal merit. You can put a garbage petition out there, but to put one out there that not only has zero legal merit, but that actively tries to subvert democracy, and to sign on to that is scary. It's to me, it's mind-boggling that all of these other officials would sign on to what the Attorney General from Texas did. The good thing is that all their names are on it, that it took less than 24 hours for the Supreme Court to throw it in the bin and say, they're not even going to listen to it because they're supposed to listen to real cases and controversies, not made up cases, not made up controversies, not stuff that has zero legal merit, and not stuff that essentially tries to throw out democracy. So when it's all said and done, we all knew that the Supreme Court was going to deny this, but we have to ask, why are they all signing on to this? Are they so afraid of Trump that he's going to give a mean tweet to someone who doesn't sign on to it, that they're willing to forego their oath to the Constitution? They're willing to forego their knowledge and oath of democracy and give it all away so they don't get a mean tweet from a person who's not going to be president of the United States in a month and a half? It just doesn't make sense. Where are these people's morals? Where are their ideals? Where's their honor and integrity? Where is their uh, idealism of democracy? You can't just sign away democracy because you're afraid of a mean tweet. You can't just pretend that the election didn't happen, that you're going to come up with some novel legal theory and have it thrown away. They are in the positions they are in because of democracy. And for whatever reason, they think it's so important to try to overthrow this election. I'm sure they understand the legal principles of democracy and trying to overthrow a democratically elected president. That is the number one right in a democracy. Everything else falls behind that. The right to vote is number one. It's even above freedom of speech because the right to vote is who you choose to run the country, who you choose to enforce the laws. It's who you choose for everything in a democracy. So the Bill of Rights, the Constitution, everything is falling one step below the right to vote. And what Trump and everybody who's with him are trying to do is to take away the very heart and soul of democracy. So, for one, I'm glad that the Supreme Court threw it out so early. I honestly didn't think it would come less than a day after it was filed, but they are sending a message, aren't they? So, the question is whether Trump's going to try more stuff, whether he's going to try to file more completely meritless applications to try to get out of an election that he lost. That's it. He just lost. He has to accept it and move on because the moment that the Chief Justice of the United States swears in Joe Biden, then all power switches to President elect Biden and he'll be out. We'll go from there. So democracy is working in that, the denial of these petitions is coming forward, and that's a good thing. So minus the fact that the president of the US and attorneys generals and congressional people, they're all trying to subvert democracy. The fact is democracy is prevailing. So it is showing the world that it won't succeed. Okay, if you like the video, click like, subscribe, and more on the coming weeks. Thank you.